Ever wondered how some people just, well, connect? They walk into a room, build rapport, seem to influence effortlessly. It feels like a secret code sometimes, doesn't it?
It really does.
Well, today, we're trying to crack that code. We're doing a deep dive into a classic, Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People.
And it's so much more than just some dusty self-help book. It came out way back in 1936.
Wow, 36?
Yeah, and it sold, what, over 15 million copies? The amazing thing is how relevant its ideas still feel today, even with, social media and everything.
Right.
So our mission here is really to distill the core strategies. Not about manipulation, let's be clear on that.
Definitely not.
It's about building genuine connections, better relationships, both, personally and professionally.
So let's start with the man himself, Dale Carnegie. Who was this guy who wrote something so enduring about, well, people? It's kind of fascinating.
It really is a great backstory. He was born into poverty, actually, on a farm in Missouri back in 1888. And surprisingly, he was apparently quite shy as a kid.
Shy. The guy who wrote the book on influencing people.
Exactly. That's the paradox. He struggled early on, tried being a salesman, even tried acting, didn't quite work out.
Huh.
His breakthrough, interestingly, came when he started teaching public speaking in New York. Which, again, considering the shyness, is pretty remarkable.
That really is something.
And that success led to the Dale Carnegie Training Institution, which is, still a huge thing today, helping people with communication, leadership.
Still going strong.
Absolutely. He passed away in 1955, but it makes you wonder, maybe it was because of his own struggles, his own shyness, that he figured out these principles so well.
That's a really interesting thought. Like he had to learn it the hard way, maybe. Not just theory. Okay, so let's unpack his blueprint. The book has 4 main parts, right? Where does he start?
He starts right at the foundation, fundamental techniques in handling people. And these are, they're fundamental because they kind of go against our first instincts sometimes.
How so?
Well, the very first principle is don't criticize, condemn, or complain.
Easier said than done sometimes.
Oh, definitely. But Carnegie's point is that criticism just puts people on the defensive.
Right.
It wounds their pride, stirs up resentment. It just doesn't work long term.
Yeah, I can see that. You criticize someone, they just dig their heels in.
Precisely. He argued it triggers this self-preservation instinct. It shuts down any real listening. So instead of making them defensive, you try understanding, empathy.
Okay, so if criticizing is out, how do you get someone to, do better or change? What's the alternative?
That leads straight into principle number 2. Give honest and sincere appreciation.
Appreciation, okay.
Carnegie really believed, and I think psychology backs this up, that there's this deep human need to feel important, to be appreciated.
Yeah.
William James called it a craving. Lincoln, too.
A craving, that's strong.
It is.
Yeah.
But it has to be honest and sincere. Not flattery. People see right through that.
Right, flattery feels slimy.
Exactly. Genuine praise, though. Recognizing someone's effort or their character, that motivates. It builds confidence. It meets that core need.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, and the third one in this first section, arouse in the other person an eager want. That sounds a bit potentially manipulative. How does he frame it?
Yeah, the phrasing sounds a bit calculating, maybe, but it's really about shifting your perspective. It's moving from what do I want to what does the other person want and how does my idea help them get it?
Ah, okay, so it's finding the win-win.
Exactly. It's about understanding their desires, their motivations. So instead of just saying, eat your broccoli, it's healthy, you might say, eating broccoli will help make you strong for soccer. You're framing it around their eager want being good at sports.
Got it. So you connect what you want to what they already want.
Precisely. It's about aligning interests.
Okay, moving on. The next section is huge. Ways to make people like you. This feels really core to the whole thing.
It absolutely is, because let's face it, if people genuinely like you, everything else becomes easier. Influence flows more naturally.
Makes sense. So what's the first step?
Principle 1 here is become genuinely interested in other people, and the key word is genuinely.
Not faking it.
Right. Carnegie had that famous line, you can make more friends in 2 months by being interested in them than in 2 years trying to get them interested in you.
I've heard that one. It's powerful.
It is. Think about how dogs react. Pure, unadulterated joy when you pay attention to them. We're kind of the same. We gravitate towards people who show real curiosity about us, our lives, what we care about.
Yeah, that tracks. What else? Is there something really simple we often overlook?
Oh, definitely. Principle 2, smile.
Smile. That's simple.
Seems almost too simple, right? But think about it. A genuine smile signals warmth, Openness, approachability. It's a nonverbal cue that says, I'm friendly, I'm safe.
Especially important now, maybe, with so much remote communication.
I think so. Carnegie talked about Charles Schwab, the steel guy, attributing success to his smile, calling it worth $1 million. There's even that old Chinese proverb, the man whose face does not smile should not open a shop.
Huh. I like that. Okay, smile. What's next?
This one is huge. Remember that a person's name is to that person the sweetest and most important sound in any language.
Oh, man. I am terrible with names sometimes. Why is it so important?
Using someone's name validates them. It says, I see you, I recognize you as an individual. Forgetting a name or getting it wrong, well, it subtly signals that they weren't important enough to remember.
Ouch. Yeah, that makes sense. It definitely creates distance.
It really does. Remembering and using names is a cornerstone of building rapport quickly.
Okay, so names, smiles, genuine interest.
What else?
Listening. Really listening. Principle 4.
Yeah.
Be a good listener. Encourage others to talk about themselves.
We all like to talk about ourselves, don't we?
We really do.
Yeah.
Carnegie had a kind of blunt way of putting it. Your own toothache matters more to you than a famine killing millions overseas. It sounds harsh, but it highlights how focused we are on our own world.
Yeah, it's true, though. So truly active listening, not just waiting for your turn to talk, but asking questions, encouraging them to elaborate on their thoughts, their achievements, their problems, that makes people feel incredibly heard and valued.
So you let them do most of the talking, basically.
A great deal of it, yes. It shifts the focus entirely onto them.
Which leads nicely into the next one, I guess. Talk in terms of the other person's interests.
Exactly. It's related to listening, but goes a step further. It's about engaging with what they are passionate about, even if it's not your thing.
Even if you know nothing about, say, stamp collecting.
Right. Carnegie tells a story about someone wanting to connect with a famous professor, William Lyon Phelps, who loved boats. The person knew nothing about boats but asked Phelps all about his sailing adventures.
And Phelps loved it, I bet.
Absolutely. Because the person entered his world, showed interest in his passion, it creates an immediate bond.
Okay. And the last one in this section. It feels like the culmination.
It really is. Principle 6. Make the other person feel important and do it sincerely.
Again, with the sincerity, that seems key.
It's everything. This ties back to that craving to be appreciated. It's not about empty flattery. It's about finding genuine things to recognize in people, their effort, their insight, a kindness they showed. Carnegie tells a lovely story about a delivery driver whose whole day was changed by a simple, sincere compliment about how efficiently he worked.
It's those small, genuine moments.
They add up. They fulfill that fundamental need to feel like we matter.
Okay, so we've handled people better. We've made them genuinely like us. Now, the tricky part. How to win people to your way of thinking. This is where that manipulation concern really comes up, isn't it?
It is, and Carnegie knew that. He stresses that these aren't tricks. It's about a fundamental shift in approach. And the very first principle here is maybe the most radical.
Okay, what is it?
The only way to get the best of an argument is to avoid it.
Avoid arguments altogether. But what if you're right?
Carnegie's point was that arguments are basically unwinnable in terms of relationships. Even if you prove your point, you've probably made the other person feel defensive, maybe humiliated. You win the point, but you damage the connection.
You win the battle, lose the war kind of thing.
Exactly. He even quoted Buddha, "Hatred is never ended by hatred, but by love. Arguing just breeds more antagonism. Find common ground instead."
Okay, avoid the fight. But what if there's a clear disagreement on facts or opinions?
That brings us to principle 2. Show respect for the other person's opinions. Never say, "You're wrong."
Whoa, never say you're wrong. That's tough.
It is tough because it's such a direct challenge. Saying "you're wrong" immediately attacks someone's ego, their judgment. They shut down.
So what do you say instead?
He suggests softer approaches. Things like, "Well, I see it differently. Maybe I'm wrong, but let's look at the facts." Or, "That's an interesting point. Have you considered this angle?" It keeps the door open for a discussion instead of slamming it shut.